Now, most people don't come to Thailand and just live happily ever after. That's the fantasy version. The real version is something very different, and it usually follows a pattern so predictable it's almost embarrassing, not because people are stupid, but because Thailand doesn't behave the way most foreigners expect a country to behave. And nobody tells you that up front, because honestly, it ruins the brochure. So today, we're breaking down the 5 phases almost every foreigner goes through in Thailand. Some people get stuck in phase 2. Some crash in phase 4. A few actually make it through all 5 and build a stable life in Thailand. Most don't. And if you're already here thinking, nah, I'm different, that's exactly what phase 3 sounds like. So let's get into it. Phase 1, the fantasy phase. This is where it all starts. This is the Instagram phase, the YouTube highlight reel phase. Everything looks simple. Cheap food, friendly people, warm weather, beautiful places. I could live here forever. And to be fair, Thailand does deliver on that early experience. This phase usually hits before you even move. You're watching videos such as, I live in Thailand for $800 a month, paradise lifestyle in Phuket, retire early in Thailand, and you start doing the maths. Because humans love doing this one thing, converting lifestyle into affordability like it's a spreadsheet. You're not thinking about culture yet. You're not thinking about systems. You're not thinking about consequences. You're thinking, why am I not already there? Statistically speaking, this is where most long-term failures begin, not in Thailand, but in expectation building, because expectations don't stay in your head, they travel with you. Phase 2, the discovery phase. This is when you land and suddenly reality shows up without the filter. Things still feel exciting, but small cracks appear. You notice not everyone speaks English the way you assumed. Yes doesn't always mean yes. Things take longer than expected. Systems are less predictable than back home. You start learning that Thailand is not broken. It's just operating on different logic. So for example, you ask for something simple and get can do. Then nothing happens. So you ask again, still nothing. Then suddenly it's done, but not in the way that you expected. This is also where the first confusion starts. Am I doing something wrong, or is this just how it is? Answer, yes, both. But you don't know that yet. You're still in discovery mode. So everything feels like a puzzle, not a pattern, and you still assume you'll figure it out quickly. That assumption becomes very important later. Phase 3, the overconfidence phase. This is the dangerous one. This is where people get comfortable too fast. You've been here a few months, maybe a year, and you start saying things such as, I get Thailand now. It's actually simple once you understand it. People overthink it. This is where the ego quietly enters the chat. You've had some wins. You've found your local spots. You've figured out transport. You've got a routine, maybe even a relationship or business idea. Everything feels manageable. And this is exactly where mistakes start, because you stop observing and start assuming. As an example, a foreigner thinks, I know how business works here now. Then they skip proper advice, trust informal agreements, assume Western logic applies in negotiations, and suddenly things don't go as expected. Or relationships. I understand her and she understands me, until she doesn't, or you didn't, or neither of you actually did. The overconfidence phase is quiet. It doesn't feel like a problem. That's why it is a problem. Phase 4, the conflict phase. This is where reality stops being polite. Something breaks. It could be money misunderstanding, relationship breakdown, a visa issue, business disagreement, cultural clash you can't logic your way out of. This is the phase where Thailand stops feeling like a dream and starts feeling like a system you don't fully control. And here's the key point. Most of these problems are not random. They are usually delayed consequences of earlier assumptions. As an example, someone ignores subtle communication cues for months. Then suddenly there's a major misunderstanding and they say, "This came out of nowhere." No, it didn't. It was just indirect the entire time. Another common one. Foreigners try to solve emotional or social problems directly. But in Thailand, direct confrontation often creates more distance, not resolution. So the more they push, the worse it gets. This phase is where you see two outcomes. Some people double down and get stuck. Others start adapting, which brings us to the final split. Phase 5, adaptation or exit. At this point, there are only two types of people left. One, the adapters. These are the ones who finally understand. It's not about controlling everything. It's about reading situations properly. It's about adjusting expectations, not forcing outcomes. They stop saying, "Why doesn't this work like home?" and start saying, "How does it work here?" They build longer-term stability, not because Thailand got easier, it's because they got better at navigating it. 2. The exit group. These are the ones who say, "Thailand just isn't for me." Sometimes that's true, but often it really means too many misunderstandings, too much friction, expectations never reset properly, frustration built up over time, so they leave. And honestly, there's no shame in that. Not every environment fits every personality, but the pattern is still the same. They all went through the same phases, just with different endings. So now, a reality check, and here's the part nobody likes hearing. Thailand doesn't change much, but what changes is your interpretation of it. The country stays exactly the same, but your understanding either sharpens or collapses under assumption. And the difference between a good experience and a bad one usually isn't luck. It's timing, expectations, awareness. So, if you recognize yourself in one of these phases, that's not unusual. That's the point. Almost everyone goes through them. The difference is whether you notice it while it's happening or only after it's already shaped your experience in Thailand. Thailand doesn't really test how much you like it. It tests how well you understand it. And most people find out the hard way that those are two very different things. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, stick around, because on this channel, we don't just talk about Thailand, We talk about the reality behind it. Take care and ciao for now. Bye bye.